Hello, my name is Belén Palop. I'm a professor at the Universidad Complutense of Madrid. In this short video, I'm going to try to explain you the 8 competencies that we will be assessing when we work with children in STEAM education. In this kind of education, what we want to build, following Lean English work from 2023, are adaptive problem solvers. What we understand by an adaptive problem solver is a child who is in the world and receives a problem, a challenge that he needs to solve. In that world, we have a lot of information, and we need the children to build on their receptive skills. They need to get the information from the world from different ways that they may appear, voice, multimedia, infographics, etc. And he or she will also have to develop their productive skills. So they need to produce information and give it back to the world once they solve the problem, but also while they talk to each other, while they work on the issue, and of course, while they think. So these ways of thinking are going to be on top of our work. We have discipline knowledge. This appears in every subject. You're going to have some knowledge that the children need to get and understand. And with that, they're going to build their competence in that discipline. Here, you're still discipline oriented. And once you have all this, then the projects are going to make something bigger than that emerge. And the other is the ways of thinking. There we understand that children need to work transdisciplinary. Of course, everything in this work is going to be affected by the socio-affective domain. Every child is going to have some affection of, or not for each subject. They are going to be able to cooperate or not. They are going to also, not only with the rest, they are also going to feel frustrated or not. They are going to be persistent or not. So everything is going to be effective by the way they relate to everything that is happening, the problem itself and the disciplines. Let me go very briefly into each of these ways of thinking that we understand. The first of all will be inquiry-based. Here we are aiming to understand maybe the usual way in the science where you dig deeper into a problem that is where you need to make this inquiry, this understanding, reading information and getting all the information you can in order to make conjectures, hypotheses, and see if what you thought was correct. When you think about the problem in a model-based approach, what you are trying to make is, well, actually a model of it. How do we measure and represent the world, for example? They will have to have an idea of the big things that are going in there and simplify them in order to extract the most important things that need to appear in their model in order to think about the problem. When you think in a system way, this is probably the way that engineers usually approach problems, you're understanding everything as subsystems that connect to each other. I think a good example would be the question, what would happen if bees disappeared? So this would cause effects in other systems, and understanding how these connections are affecting the whole nature or the environment is the way that you need to think when you solve this problem. In the design-based thinking, children are aiming to build something, to develop some solution or build an artifact. They will usually go through these steps of analyzing, designing, implementing, and assessing or evaluating what they're doing. So they are going to move in this cycle, and understanding that your work always will be needed to improve and to work on it is really important when you think of these ideas of I need to solve something particular that I am going to build. And finally, we have this philosophical thinking. Children need to understand they are citizens, they live in a society, and the decisions that they make, for example, should we accept the installation of a nuclear power plant, is not only the efficiency maybe, or the energy that it will generate, but also the implications, the social implications of this question. Yes or no, why, but how will it affect others and the society? And also how science is affecting society. The same idea of thinking about science is belonging to this philosophical thinking. So I hope this clarifies the ways of thinking that we are trying to develop in this STEAM education process together with our model. We have, again, the knowledge, the competencies regarding the disciplines, the ways of thinking that are transdisciplinary, the way the child relates to them, how they produce, how they receive, and of course, how they solve problems that are in their daily lives. Thank you.